The war on planet Veloria had been going on for months. Smoke filled the air, and the ground was full of broken machines, fire, and bodies. The human army was losing. The aliens were too fast, too smart, and too many. Jake Carter, a strong and brave human soldier, ran through the burning trees. His team was gone. They were attacked in the night. Only he had survived. His leg was bleeding. His energy was low. He needed help, but there was no one. Suddenly, a strange noise came from behind. Jake turned and fired his laser gun, but no one was there. He kept walking, tired and weak. After some time, his foot slipped on a rock, and he fell. Everything went dark. When he woke up, he was not outside anymore. He was inside a cave. The walls glowed with soft blue light. The air was warm. He tried to move but felt pain in his leg. A soft voice came from the shadows. "You are safe now. Don't move too much." The voice said. Jake looked around. A woman was sitting near him, but she was not human. Her skin was shining silver. Her hair moved like liquid light. Her eyes were big and bright, like two full moons. Who are you?" Jake asked. "My name is Arya," she said. "I found you in the forest." "You were almost dead." Jake tried to sit up. "Thank you." "Why did you save me?" Arya smiled, but didn't answer the question. She gave him some glowing water. "Drink this. It will help you heal." He drank. It tasted strange, but calming. For the next few days, Arya took care of him. She brought strange fruits, cleaned his wound, and told him stories about the forest. In the sky, Jake started feeling safe around her. She seemed kind and smart and very alone, but something was not right. Jake noticed little things. Arya had a small metal box that showed moving stars inside it. It looked like a map of the galaxy. She never let him touch it. She also knew a lot about humans. Too much for someone who said she was a forest traveler. One night, when Jake was pretending to sleep, he saw her walk to a dark corner of the cave. She opened a silver case and took out a shiny device. A hologram appeared, a blue face with golden eyes. Arya spoke in a language Jake didn't understand. The voice replied in a deep, serious tone. "He must never know the truth, Arya. You are Zalora. He is human. This love is not allowed." Jake's eyes widened. What the hell was that? He thought. The hologram vanished, and Arya turned. But Jake closed his eyes quickly. She sat near him and whispered, "Forgive me." The next day, Jake acted normal. He didn't ask questions, but his heart was full of confusion. Who is she really? He thought, what is Zalora? Still, he couldn't help but feel something strong for her. She had saved him. She made him feel alive again. Maybe she had secrets, but didn't everyone? A few days later, he finally said it. "I don't want to go back to the war, Arya. I want to stay." "With you?" Arya looked at him with shock and sadness. "You don't know what you're saying, Jake," she said softly. "I do," he replied. "I know there's more to you. But I don't care. I just know I feel something real." Arya looked away. She wanted to believe him, but she knew her world and Jake's were two different. Later that night, when Jake was asleep again, Arya opened her galactic communicator one more time. She spoke with someone called Lord Vex. "He wants to stay," she said. "He cannot." Lord Vex replied, "You are the last heir of the Zalora Empire. If the council finds out you love a human, they will destroy him." Arya closed the device and looked at Jake with tears in her eyes. "He saved me without knowing it," she whispered. "And now I must choose between my heart and my crown." Asterisk, the sun on planet Veloria never truly rose. Instead, the sky stayed dark purple, glowing faintly with stars even during the day. Deep in the forest cave, Jake woke up to soft music, not from any instrument he knew, but from Araya's voice. She was singing not for him, not for anyone, just to herself. Her voice echoed in the air like wind in a dream. Strange words. Beautiful. Sad. Jake watched her from behind the rock. She stood near a glowing flower, her hand resting on its petals. Her skin shimmered like moonlight. her silver hair flowing behind her shoulders. In that moment, Jake didn't feel like a soldier. He felt like a man who had found a hidden world. Arya noticed him watching and stopped singing. You shouldn't be standing yet, she said, walking. Over. Jake smiled. I had to be sure you were real. Arya tilted her head, confused. Why do humans always say that? Because we don't meet people like you, Jake answered. Not where I come from. She looked away, hiding a smile. Maybe that's a good thing. They spent their days inside the forest, far from war. Jake was healing fast. Araya's herbs and drinks worked like magic. She never explained how. She just said they grow only for those who need them. Jake noticed more strange things. Arya could touch machines, and they would turn on. She never ate. But never looked hungry. And sometimes, when she thought he wasn't looking, she stared at the stars for hours, her eyes full of secrets. One night, a storm came. Lightning cracked through the sky. Rain poured from the black clouds like silver fire. Inside the cave, Jake and Arya sat close, wrapped in furs. I never asked you, Jake said slowly. Where are you really from? Arya stayed quiet for a moment. Then she said, far away. A place of light, gold towers, and silence. Jake laughed. That doesn't sound like Earth. She looked at him. It isn't, and I don't think I can ever go back. Jake wanted to ask more, but something in her eyes told him to stop. Time passed. The war outside felt like a distant dream. Jake and Arya laughed, shared stories, even danced once under the glowing trees. He told her about Earth, dogs, pizza, oceans, music. She told him about other galaxies, flying whales, moons made of glass, but still, she never told him the truth. And Jake, though he didn't say it, felt it. A shadow between them. A space she wouldn't let him touch. Then came the day he made his choice. He stood in the forest, holding a small ring he made from a strange crystal he found near the cave. I know this is crazy, he said, heart racing. We're from two different worlds, but I'd never felt this before. I want to be with you, Arya, forever. Arya stared at him like she couldn't breathe. You don't know who I am, she whispered. I know enough, Jake said. And I trust my heart. She didn't answer. She just stepped forward and kissed him. They were married that night, under the twin moons of Veloria. No guests. No celebration. Only them, the stars and the soft wind carrying their promise. But as Jake held her close, Arya placed a glowing ring on his finger, one he didn't make. It sparkled softly. But behind her calm eyes, fear grew, because the ring was not just a gift. It was a royal tracker, a beacon connected to the stars, now calling attention to Jake's location. From far above, in space, something blinked, and someone was watching. Asterisk high. Above planet Veloria, beyond the clouds and dust, a small drone floated silently. Its eyes were cold lenses. Its brain was a machine. Its mission, watch her. It had found her, and it was recording everything. Back on the ground, deep inside the forest, Jake and Arya walked hand in hand beneath the glowing leaves. They were newly married, but there were no rings of gold, no loud music, no witnesses, just two souls alone in a world not meant for them. Jake had never felt this kind of peace before. No orders, no commanders, no war. Only her, and yet he could feel something was off. Arya smiled, laughed, kissed him, but in her eyes, there was always a flicker of distance. Like part of her was far away, floating in the stars. One evening, Jake found her sitting on a rock near the cave, staring at a small device in her hands. It looked like a silver egg. When she saw him, she quickly closed it. What was that? Jake asked gently. Just old memories, she said, avoiding his eyes. He sat beside her. I don't need to know everything right now, he said, but I need to know if you're really here, with me, not just in body, but in heart. Arya turned to him slowly. I am here, Jake, she whispered, but my past is not far behind. And someday, it may find us. That night, as Jake slept, the silver egg opened again in Araya's hands. A hologram of a tall figure appeared, golden skin, sharp blue eyes, and a voice like thunder. Princess Arya Zalora, the voice said, you have broken the galactic law. A royal cannot marry a primitive species. If the council finds out, they will destroy the human. I didn't plan this, she replied, but I love him. Love is not permission, the voice growled. End it, now, before others find out. Arya ended the call and held her head in her hands. She had made her choice, but it had a price. Elsewhere, in the burning sky, Jake's old commander was receiving orders. His name was Colonel Brex, a hardened veteran with metal limbs and no heart. He stared at a screen showing a red dot blinking. Jake's location. What's he doing in the red zone? Brex growled. No soldier survives there. His assistant replied, he's gone dark, sir. No contact for weeks. Brex narrowed his eyes. Then send a drone, or send fire. The next day, Jake tried to build a small home beside the cave. He carved wood, gathered stones, planned a simple life. Arya helped, quietly, but every few minutes, she looked to the sky. Something felt closer. She knew they had been found. That night, Jake and Arya lay under the open stars. I used to look up and wonder if someone was watching, Jake said. Now I just hope they're not. Arya didn't answer. She placed her hand on his chest and whispered something in her language. Jake looked at her. What did you say? I said, if I lose everything, but I still have you, then I have everything I need. He smiled and held her close. But above them, the drone's red light blinked again, and far across the galaxy, on a planet made of glass and gold, a royal fleet began to move, not to rescue, but to punish. 12 beings sat in silence. Some shimmered like crystal. Some breathed fire. One had no face at all, just light and a hood dot at the center. A great silver chair stood empty. It was Araya's throne. A voice broke the silence. She married a human. Gasps echoed across the chamber. Not because it was love, but because it was forbidden. She is the last of her bloodline, said another counselor. And as she chose a primitive, a soldier, she is a danger now. Her marriage could destroy our treaty with the high races. Another slammed their fist on the table, then bring her back. By force, if needed. But the oldest among them, a being made of living starlight, whispered, call her first. Let her explain. Meanwhile, in a clearing on Valoria, stood alone beneath a tree that glowed white under the twin moons. Her silver communicator pulsed in her hand. She had been summoned. It was time. She walked back into the cave. Jake was asleep, breathing softly, his hand resting near the blade he no longer needed. She touched his hair and whispered, forgive me. I must go, just for a little while. She pressed her finger to the glowing ring she gave him, the one he still didn't know was tracking his life signs. A beam of silent light fell from the sky and took her. Seen Araya's return. Capital. Planet of the Zalora Empire. She stepped out of the beam into a grand hall of floating silver glass. The air shimmered with gold dust. Servants bowed. Flowers bloomed with her name. But Arya walked with her head low. This was no welcome. This was judgment. She entered the star chamber. All eyes turned to her. Arya Zalora, said the lead counselor. Princess of the Eastern. Nebula, daughter of the last empress. You left your post. You broke the crown oath. You married a human. Arya raised her eyes. I did. Do you deny it? I would die for him. I will not deny him. Murmurs spread like fire. Would give up 1,000 worlds for one man? She stepped forward. I would give up everything, if it means I can live as myself. One of the counselors, Lord Vex, the same voice who once warned her, stood. You have cursed us. If the Council of Stars finds out, they will strike. They will see this as a weakness. Then let them see it, Arya said. I am not weak. I am in love. They took her crown. They erased her name from the royal database. They stripped her title, not with cruelty, but with silence. She left the chamber with nothing. Except one thing. Her decision. Scene cut, back on Earth's edge, at a human base kernel. Breck stared at a screen. Jake Carter's name was flashing. Found him. Brex growled. He's not just hiding. He's with something ... alien. A soldier asked. Orders, sir. Brex lit a cigar. Bring him in. And if the alien resists, wipe her out. Final scene. Arya in a small starship, flying alone through space. She looked at Jake's image on her screen. A live feed from the ring. He was chopping wood. Smiling ... unaware ... She closed her eyes. Hold on, Jake. They're coming. But so am I. And in the black of space, her ship vanished into light. Asterisk, the room was cold. The walls were carved from black stone. At the center stood a long table made of cracked metal. Around it sat the Scorchers, a rebel alien group wanted. In 5-star systems, their leader, Caravan, wore armor made from fallen warships. Her eyes were sharp as broken glass. Her voice like a whisper full of knives. She slammed a hand down on the table. She gave up her crown for a human. The others muttered. Arya Zalora is now vulnerable, Kara continued. She still has access to royal codes, hidden vaults, tech we can't even dream of. And her weakness? One asked. Kara smiled. The soldier. We take him. She gives us everything. Scene shift. Jake's cabin. Planet Valoria. Jake was chopping wood. Outside the small shelter he built with Arya, birds sang above. The wind was soft. He felt calm, but not for long. In a distance, the air shimmered. A small insect buzzed near his face. Too perfect. Too still. Jake swatted it, and it exploded in sparks. A spy drone. His heart froze. He turned to run, but it was already too late. A blast hit him in the chest, non-lethal but strong. He collapsed to the ground. Figures appeared from the trees, tall, armored aliens with scorched skin and glowing weapons. One of them scanned Jake's finger. The royal ring blinked red. This is the one, the soldier said. The Queen's husband. Scene cut. Araya's ship, Mid-Warparia, sat in the cockpit, flying through the light of stars. Suddenly, her ship screamed. An alert flashed. Vital link lost. Ring status. Emergency. She stared in horror. Jake. Scene? Jake. Imprisoned on the rebel base. Jake woke up in chains. The room was dim. The air smelled of iron and smoke. Kara stood before him, arms crossed. You don't know who your wife really is, do you? Jake didn't answer. His eyes burned with anger. She's a queen, soldier. A galactic billionaire. And she married you. Why? Because she's not like you, Jake growled. Kara smirked. You're right. She's worse. She has power but hides it. Now we want it. Jake spat on the ground. She'd come for me. You know that? Kara leaned in close. We're counting on it. Scene. Arya lands on Valoria. Sees the destroyed cabin. The shelter was on fire. The forest was silent. She dropped to her knees, picked up his broken blade, and closed her eyes. Then she stood. Not as a wife, not as a runaway, but as the last. Royal of Zalora, now with nothing to lose. She opened a hidden compartment on her ship and pulled out her armor, shimmering with energy. Royal symbols glowing. Across the chest plate. She sent a single message through the stars. I am coming. Then I will burn your rebellion to dust. Final scene. Inside the rebel prison. Jake sat alone, chained to the floor. He whispered to himself. She told me she wasn't from here. I just never asked how far. He smiled weakly. Come on, Arya. Come find me. Outside the cell, alarms. Suddenly screamed. Lights flickered red, and somewhere far above, a silver ship pierced through the stars, heading straight for them. Inside Jake's mind, a memory. He was lying in the mud that day, bleeding, alone. Smoke in the air, fire in the sky. And then she appeared, silver skin, eyes like moonlight, a voice that melted the noise. You are safe now, she had said. Now. In the darkness of a prison cell, Jake whispered the same words to himself. You are safe now. But he wasn't, not yet. Chains held his arms. Cold walls surrounded him. The rebels had taken everything. All he had left was one hope. Her. Location. Outer orbit rebel base A, Starship moved with silence and fire. It was shaped like a blade. No flags, no symbols. But to those who knew, it was hers. Inside, Arya Salora stood in full battle armor. Her silver suit shimmered with energy. Her helmet floated beside her, scanning all frequencies. She was not coming as a princess. She was coming as a storm. Target locked. The A spoke. Arya didn't blink. Open. The drop gate. The ship doors opened to the void. Stars spun around her. Below, the enemy base, a dark fortress built into an asteroid. She stepped to the edge and jumped. Scene. Inside the rebel base. Alarms. Exploded. Soldiers ran to stations. Caravan stood on the command platform, watching a red streak fall from orbit like a meteor. She came alone? Kara asked. A guard answered, yes, and she's not slowing down. Crash. Arya smashed through the base roof like a comet. Steel twisted. Dust flew. She landed on one knee, rising slowly. The rebels opened fire. She raised her hand. A blast of light erupted, throwing them backward like leaves in a storm. One by one, the soldiers fell. Not dead. Just stopped. Her tech was beyond them. She moved like lightning. No hesitation. Through corridor after corridor, her eyes scanning, her ring. Glowing hotter as she drew closer to Jake's signal. Seen. Jake's cell. The walls shook. Lights flickered. Outside. Screams. Booms. Silence. Then she appeared, covered in dust, glowing like a sun, armor cracked but eyes burning bright. Jake stared, speechless. You came? He said, I told you I would, Arya replied. She raised her hand. The chains unlocked. Jake collapsed into her arms. For a moment, there was only them. Scene. Command room. Kara watches on screen. She made it to him. A rebel gasped. Kara narrowed her eyes. Fine. Let her go. But fire up the self-destruct. If I can't win, neither will she. Scene. Escape run alarm screamed. The base began to collapse. Arya held Jake close, guiding him through the burning halls. I should have known, Jake said. You weren't just hiding from war. You were hiding from a whole galaxy. I wasn't hiding, she said. I was hoping someone would love me for who I am. I still do. They reached the exit tunnel. Her ship responded to her voice. Open. The gate broke free. They jumped. Boom. The base exploded behind them. A fireball tearing through the sky. But the ship rose through it. Cracked. Shaking. But alive. Final scene. The quiet aftermath. Aboard Arya's ship, Jake lay on a medical bed. Arya sat beside him. He looked up at her, weak but smiling. I guess this means we're famous now. No, she said. It means we're enemies of both sides. Jake laughed softly. Romantic. Arya smiled. The real kind. Not the royal kind. Where to now? He asked. She touched the stars on her screen. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere they can't find us. But deep down, they both knew. The galaxy had just begun to notice them. Asterisk, a small child sat under a glowing tree. Eyes wide. Tell me the story again, the child whispered. The old woman beside her smiled. Which one? The one about the human soldier? An alien. Queen, the woman nodded. Her silver hair sparkled under the night sky. She looked up, then began. Asterisk. They met in war, on a planet that burned. He was a lost soldier. She was a runaway princess. They should have hated each other. But instead, they fell in love. Secretly. Completely. Recklessly. Asterisk, flashback. A quiet moon. Present-day Arya and Jake stood at the edge of a cliff. Looking down at a new world, calm, blue, untouched by empire or war. They had found a place where no scanner could reach. No bounty hunter could track. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. Arya grew vegetables. Jake built their home from living wood. At night. They danced to old Earth songs. They were outlaws now. Royal trader? Missing soldier. But for once in their lives, they were free. One evening, Jake watched Arya with quiet awe. She stood near the river, her hands glowing as she healed a dying tree. Still think you married a nobody? She teased. Jake smiled. No, I think I married the universe. She walked toward him, slow and soft. I have something to tell you, she said. He looked at her. And she took his hand, placing it gently on her stomach. We're not just two anymore. Jake was speechless, his eyes filled with tears. A child born of two galaxies, human and Zalora. The impossible had become real, but far above, beyond the stars. The galaxy had not forgotten them. Spies whispered. Councils argued. Some wanted war, some wanted peace, but most were afraid because the child would be something new, something never seen before. Final scene, back to the old woman and the child. And then what happened? The child asked. The old woman smiled. They stayed hidden for a while, but stars don't hide forever. One day, the galaxy came knocking again. What did they do? They didn't run this time. They stood together. A queen with no crown, a soldier with no army, and a child who would one day unite them all. The child blinked. That's a nice story. Is it true? The old woman leaned down, whispered in her ear. You are the story, little star. Above them, two moons hung in the sky, one silver, one blue dot, and far off, in space, a single new star blinked into life.